And hello everybody, and welcome to part 4 of the PDC World Championship preview video series. So in the last part, we checked out sessions 5 and 6, and in this part, we'll be checking out sessions 7 and 8. These will be these 8 matches there. As you can see, we've got a couple of former World Championships on the schedule, and a lot of really nice players who are going to hopefully throw some awesome darts for us today. So, we're going to start off right here at the top with Daryl Gurney against Ross Smith. Well, we'll start off with Daryl Gurney. He is obviously in great form, winning the Players' Championship Finals this year in a thrilling final over Michael Van Gerwen. He also won the Grand Prix last year to really put himself on the map as a top player, a win that also essentially got him his Premier League spot, which he did reasonably well, just missing out on the playoffs, I believe finishing 5th or 6th, but he was certainly competitive. He's kind of had an up and down year, probably more good than bad, and he did triumph recently, so I don't think you can say it's been a bad year. He comes in ranked 5th, so about where he was at the start of the year. I think he was 4th at the start of the year, or 5th, somewhere around there, but he hasn't really changed much. As for Ross Smith, he's had a pretty decent year. He's gotten into the World Championships, of course. We've already seen him once in this playthrough, winning his first round match. Played pretty well against Paul Lim. And now he's got to take on a 2-time major winner in Daryl Gurney. Will he have enough? Simply put, I think the answer is no. I think Daryl Gurney just outclasses him by too much. Gurney, he's really good on his finishing. He can score really well at times. And there just aren't really any obvious holes in his game that can derail him. Whereas Ross Smith, he's a nice player, but he's just not going to have the scoring power to keep up with the Daryl Gurney. And Daryl Gurney just doesn't give you a lot of chances. He's not a guy that's going to go up there, miss 5 and 6 doubles in a row, and let you steal a leg. I think Gurney wins 3-0. I don't think Ross Smith is even going to win a set, but he could pull out one, but we'll see. So with that said, let's send them out to the Aki, and we will see how they do. And here we go. And Gurney actually did drop a set, but Ross Smith played all right. But Gurney was just way too good, averaging 99, one of the higher averages we've seen in the tournament so far, 11-5 in legs. And you can just tell, but look at the score and power. 5 180s, pretty solid. 11 out of 20 on the doubles, that's very solid. You're going to win a lot when you can get essentially 180 every third leg and hitting over 50% of your doubles. You're not going to be losing too often doing that. So if Gurney can keep up that standard, I think he makes a deep run. Up next, we have Jamie Lewis against Cody Harris. Now, we know Cody Harris. He's the best player in New Zealand. He was certainly had his moments. But let's talk about Jamie Lewis. The unlikeliest of runs you'd ever see to the semifinals of last year's World Championships, and this was no fluke. He earned every single one of those wins. He pounded people. He was not just catching good players on off days. He was making good players wish they weren't even there and just annihilating them. He could have beaten Phil Taylor and made the final, but he just came up a little short. Just finally was not able to hit those big darts that he'd been hitting all week, but he was way closer than the score would indicate. I love Jamie Lewis as a player. I think he is really got a lot of potential. Unfortunately, consistency seems to be the killer. When he gets on stage and when he gets going, he cannot be stopped. But he just doesn't do it that often. Very streaky. I think he wins here today. I think Cody Harris is a nice player, but again, I just don't think he's got the firepower, and I think he's going to be outclassed here by Jamie, who certainly, when he's on, could score with anybody. He can finish with anybody. I like Jamie 3-1. So let's send him onto the stage and see how we do. Invalid player. Oh. I know why it did that. I made a mistake. Just a second while I fix it. Now I know why. Because I wanted player number 77, and I told it to have a 77-player game. And I don't think you can play darts with 77 players. I could be wrong, but we'll try to play a 77-player game one of these days. Anyway, so I have cleared out that, and now we've got our match to do. All right, here we go. Cody Harris against Jamie Lewis, whose number I also need to look up. I think it's 42. It is. Hooray. And here we go. Who's going to win? Jamie Lewis with a 3-2 win. Good game there. Cody Harris actually won more legs than Jamie. He's got to be disappointed there. Cody, you missed 2 dots. Could have kept this match, but you didn't. And then Jamie punishes you with 32. All right, so that match was a little closer than I expected. Of course, Jamie didn't play great. He played all right, averaged 94. A pretty average game, really. Cody Harris, on the other hand, 9 180s, definitely scored well, but looked like he had a little trouble finishing, or he could have maybe pulled the upset. But definitely a good game. Would have been a nice game to watch. All right, so we'll go ahead and put this one in the books. Up next, we have Chizzy versus Josh Payne. Now, this is an interesting one to try to call. On one hand, I like Josh Payne. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's young, and he's getting there. On the other hand, you got Chizzy, who's been all over the map the last 2 years, and his ranking is finally starting to tumble, and his form is still just completely erratic. It's hard for me to see either one of these players going too far. I don't think Josh Payne is ready to make a deep run at a world championship. I think he might be someday. I like his game. Chizzy is just too erratic, so I can't really see him doing much. Like most matches, it just depends which Chizzy shows up. If I had to pick, I think Chizzy wins 3-2. I think he'll find... I'm almost going to say something I can't believe. Chizzy's going to find a way to win, which is usually the opposite. He usually finds a way to lose. But I think in this match, he's going to come through. Let's find out. And the winner is Dave Chisnall. I'll say, look at that. Good Chizzy showed up. Average 98. Look at that finishing. 9 for 13. You know, and that's the thing that drives you nuts about Dave Chisnall. He's going to do that, average just under a ton, 5 180s, and finishing like a superstar. And then tomorrow he'll go out and average 85 and go 1 for 12 on doubles. It's like you don't know which one you're going to get. But today we got good Chizzy, and we certainly see what he's capable of when he brings his A game, which he certainly did today. Josh Payne certainly did not bring his A game, only averaging 85 and only winning 2 legs out of 11. So he'll be back, and he'll have better days, but today belonged to Dave Chisnall. Up next, we have Kim Hybrex against Robert Thornton. These are another pair of players who, in my opinion, are trending downward. Robert Thornton's had a very tough couple of years and has seen his world ranking tumble into the 30s. And if he doesn't get it together soon, we may not hear from him again. He is certainly in danger of falling completely out of consideration for any sort of TV events. And he'll have to go through qualifying, and the way he's playing, that's going to be tough. So Robert Thornton should definitely be feeling a lot of pressure to perform here at this World Championship, because we may not see him again if he doesn't have a good year. As for Kem Hybrex, he also had a tough couple of years. He was in the Premier League the previous year, and I believe finished in last. Was not selected this year, and really hasn't been all that impressive either. He's kind of been up and down, probably more down than up. His ranking has tumbled down to 21. He's had a little bit of success as of late, but it's been hard for him. But one of the two will win. We know that much, and yeah, this is definitely a winnable section for all of them. So good luck to Kem and good luck to Thornton. I like Kem. I think he's just a better player. I think Thornton is just, his best years are behind him, and I can't really see him rebounding from such an ugly year he's had overall. So I like Kem 3-1, maybe even 3-0. I don't think this one will be very competitive, but we shall see. And the winner is Kem Hybrex. So yeah, it was 3-1, like I said. And you can look at the stats, and it wasn't all that competitive, really. Thornton only won 4 out of 13 legs, despite the 3 180s to 0. Kem was finishing well, which is good. When he's not hitting his double 16s, he's in a lot of trouble, but it appears he was today. So good for him, averaging 96, and he will get to take on Dave Chisnall in the next round. All right, we'll head on to the other side, where we have the Demolition Man, Darren Webster, taking on Vincent van der Voer. So I like this matchup. You got two players I like. I think Van der Voort's a very underrated player. I think he's very capable of playing well, especially when he's on his game. He can beat anybody. He seems to always draw the wrong players, though. But he tends to perform. He loses a lot of close matches against top players, so I like his game. Darren Webster, well, he's had his best year as a professional. He's seen his rank climb all the way up to number 13. He could get into the top 10 very easily, depending on what happens here in this World Championship, because there's several players that he could jump over with a good performance. So this is a good time to be Darren Webster. Not the easiest of draws, though. I think these are two very, very evenly matched players. I might give a slight tick to Darren Webster, just purely on the form. He was in the round of 8 last year, so he certainly has the experience. I would go 3-2 to the Demolition Man, but really I expect this to be a very close match. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's see what happens. Here we go. And the winner is Darren Webster, 3-0. Wow. He did well. Well, but look at that. Now this is how close it was. And this is the thing about set play. It was 9-6 on legs, 3-0 on sets. That means Webster won 3 deciding legs. So he was very clutch. I mean, you can do, oh, look at this here. Poor Van der Voort. 92. You can look about halfway up the screen. He's on 92 on a set leg, and he bounces out a ball. That's certainly unlucky. Hits the treble and then misses a set dart, and the Demolition Man cleans up double 10. So this was a very close match, even though it was 3-0. This was and they both played pretty well. 96 and 94 averages, nothing wrong with that. So yeah, well played to both players. The match was certainly a lot closer than the 3-0 score would indicate. All right, moving on. We got Steve Beaton, the Bronze Adonis, against Chris Doby. Now, this is a pretty even match, I think, as well. I like Doby. I think he's an up-and-coming player. I think his best years are in front of him. Steve Beaton is like the model of consistency, one of the smoothest throws you'll ever see. He did win a world championship back on the BDO, so he's certainly more than capable of performing on the big stage. Chris Doby, I think, is a little more erratic than Beaton. Beaton, you know what you're going to get. But I think this will be close. I like Beaton a little bit. I think 3-2 is probably about right. But I think this will also be a pretty close match. And I think I think we're going to see some good darts in this one. I don't expect anybody to just roll over. So let's get them on stage and let's get some darts. And the winner is Chris Doby. Well, that one didn't go at all like I expected. I was expecting some really high-quality darts here, and we didn't really get it. Beaton's finishing was not very impressive. He only won 5 legs out of 15, so he had a rough day, only averaging 86. Doby didn't do a lot, but he did enough. That will be our 4th seeded player to come tumbling down here in the second round. The highest we've lost is the 15 seed, so we've lost 3 seeds in the 20s, and then our 15 seed. Oh, we lost the 19. 15, 19, 20, and now 26. Those are the 4 seeds we've lost. All right, so we'll go ahead and get this one in the books. Not a good day for the Bronze Adonis. But Chris Doby will not complain. All right, up next, we have Jermaine Watamena against Michael Barnard. Now, this is another interesting matchup because it's 2 players that I think are definitely also trending upward. Watamena entered the year somewhere in the 40s, I think, for his rankings. And he's played really well throughout the year. Climbed all the way up to 29, as you can see now. Done some damage on the Euro Tour. Done well in Players' Championships events. Definitely proved he belongs on tour. And certainly has earned his seed through some pretty consistent quality play throughout the year. Michael Barnard's a very interesting player as well. Not a lot of people know him, but he did win the Challenge Tour, so we will see him with a tour card next year. Well done. And I think he has the ability to do some damage. I like his game. I think he's pretty consistent. He certainly doesn't give you a lot of bad games, so it would be surprised to see that this one's not competitive. I think Watamena is just a little better, a little more experienced. I think he probably wins 3-1, maybe 3-2. But I think it'll be a good game. So let's go ahead and head out there and get him on the stage. And off we go. And the winner is Jermaine Watamena, 3-2. I was right. It was a very close game. Looks like Watamena had some double troubles. Otherwise, he could have probably won by a lot more. He had 11-11 in legs, so completely even. So pretty well done by both players here. The averages were a little low, but you know, averages don't always tell the whole story. All right, there we go. So we have one more match. The Flying Scotsman, Gary Anderson, against the Asset, Paul Nicholson. Now, poor Paul Nicholson. See, I really like Paul Nicholson. And I really like how he's come back this year, and he's played hard, made the semis of a Euro Tour, which kind of set him up for the rest of the year, got him into the European Championships, the World Championships. So well done to Paul. But he does not know how to draw. He always draws either MVG or Gary or some elite player where he's going to be outclassed. And unfortunately, that's what's going to happen here. Gary Anderson, what else can I say about the guy? He's won 2 world championships. He's been to 4 world championship finals. He's won the Premier League. This year alone, he's won the UK Open. He's won the World Match Play. He's won the Champions League. He should have won the Grand Slam. The man is a monster, okay? There's nothing this guy can't do. He can beat anyone, and he never gives you a bad game. I don't give Paul Nicholson much of a chance here beating Gary Anderson. I think Gary probably wins 3-0. As much as I like Paul, and as much as I respect him for improving his game and making a good comeback back to relevance, this shall not be your day. So with that said, let's get them out there. And off we go. And the winner is Gary Anderson. Well, that was actually closer than you might think. Gary didn't play all that well, only averaged 95. Nicholson averaged 89, didn't throw a 180. So yeah, Gary didn't bring his best stuff. He's probably saving it for later. But yeah, still a 3-1 win. He's going to know he didn't play his best. He's capable of way more than that. So he will be a force to be reckoned with later in the tournament. All right, so with that said, we have now previewed 3 quarters of round 2. We just have one more bracket left to do, sessions 9 and 10, and then we'll be done with round 2, and we'll move on into round 3. So we had one upset, Chris Dobie beating Steve Beaton. The rest went according to seeding. So we've had some really good darts so far. I have not had a 9-darter yet. I hope we have a 9-darter. We've had some ton-plus averages, which are always nice to see. And we've had some really exciting matches. So if you found this video interesting and you liked it, please drop us a like and maybe give us a sub if you're into our content. Really appreciate that. In the next video, we'll be checking out sessions 9 and 10, previewing those 8 matches. So be sure to tune in for that. So until next time, everyone, have a great day and see you next time.